Chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back, yes! Episode 179, but that means it's time. 4-year anniversary of MinneZona Sports Live. Claps all around. Claps all around. And, you know, it's hard to believe. We're feeling good about it. And we're happy that you have joined us tonight. The Zoney Awards are ahead. And with that being said, as always, I'm your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., 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 and all the way from Granite City Studios in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Paul Vold.
There you go.
Shield, needed a second there, but what's going on? Shield.
I mean, I can't believe we've been doing this for 4 years now at this point, and well, just about every time we do the show for the anniversary, I wear the same outfit. For the keepers. Keenum's keepers. No, this is not a Kirk Cousins Washington jersey. This is a Case Keenum Washington jersey with the matching hat to go along with it as well. Always for the keepers here on the 4-year anniversary. I'm looking forward to the Zonies because I know we've got some very vested parties joining in tonight as well.
We have some very vested parties, and there was a lot of there's a lot of votes, and that's a good thing. A lot of people are vying for that spot, but let's one of them's already tuning in. Eric Moser, our guy.
Moser.
It sounds like sounds like he's feeling good about his chances. Let's see if that's true.
Who knows?
But Voldy, as we always do with the Zonies, we start off or we end with the best guest because I feel like that's the one people want to vie for and whatnot. And the polls are officially closed, so that means no more votes, no more nothing. We have it written down. We're good to go. Moser says, "Win or not, I'm just glad to be a part of it." Hey, we appreciate you, my guy.
That's my guy.
You. So Voldy, let's talk about what we got going on tonight, just for the Zoney Awards. Not only got the Zoney Awards, but Tater Tot Hot Take. We welcome Joemauer into the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame. Claps out. Oh no, that's not what. That's what. Claps to Joemauer for getting into the Hall of Fame. We'll be talking about that after the Zoney Awards. And then, Voldy, we got to talk about the NFC, AFC Championship games since we got that going on. And Zoners, feel free to chime in who you think are going to win the NFC, who's going to win the AFC. We'll talk just a little bit about the games, and then we'll move on to ARA. A lot happening with ARA tonight. Harbaugh, you got the Hall of Fame, or you got the Baseball Hall of Fame. Things like that. There is so much to go over tonight. It's insane. And we thank the Zoners for watching and listening. Just everything. This past year was so much fun. Who knows what's in store, Shield, for 2024.
Who knows?
There's just a lot going on with it. So, with that being said, Voldy, it is time for the Zoney Awards. There's a lot. There's been a lot of chatter. There's been a lot of people talking about, hey, what if I win Best Guess? Most absurd statement. Who's the biggest clown of 2023? And not only that, you guys pick your favorite segments. You guys pick your absurd statements, things like that. So, that being said, let's start it off like we always do, Voldy, with the best Minnesota team. Now, in past years, the Minnesota Vikings won the first time last year for 2022, and the previous year, I believe it was the Minnesota Wild. So, will it be any one of those teams? I doubt it, but that's why I do have the results here. So, there's been a lot of back and forth on who picked where and whatnot. So, receiving one vote for the for best Minnesota team, the Minnesota Vikings. No surprise there.
No surprise.
Whoever voted for the Vikings, I don't know why.
Optimist.
Well, optimist is fine. I like it, but again,
delusional, but an optimist.
Yeah, we'll take it, right? So coming in third, we have the Minnesota Whitecaps. The Minnesota Whitecaps. Wow. Hey, claps out to them. They got 2 votes.
Don't exist anymore, but hey, claps to them.
Yeah. So we threw it in there. We threw that in there. So hey, we'll take it.
Yep.
So the next, we have a tie. We have a tie. Voldy, can you guess which teams are tied right now?
I could probably throw out who they are. I'm going to say Minnesota Twins is one of them.
I'm on the wrong thing. Okay.
And I'm going to say the other team is the Timberwolves.
No. As Coop would say.
All right.
Do you have another guess? Do the Zoners?
Well, then let's see. So we already had the Vikings, not the Timberwolves. Definitely not going to be. I don't think it's going to be the Loons. No, I don't think it's going to be Minnesota United. No. Then it's process of elimination. I'm going to say it's the Wild.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Nice.
It is the Wild and the Twins. So,
Okay.
Voldy, we usually do this, with in previous years we just had people just put in what they thought, who they thought did better, things like that.
Right.
But Voldy, I think we can come to the conclusion that I think since we are the deciding factors here,
Yes.
I'm probably going with the Twins here, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's a safe bet right there. I voted for the Twins, and yeah, safer bet. The Wild last year was last year. But yeah, I think the Twins far above, way better than the Wild did last year for sure.
Unfortunately, sorry, people who are Wild fans, but
not sorry.
This makes more sense. They went farther in the playoffs than the Wild did. You got to give them credit where credit's due.
Much farther.
Yeah, so we got that. Congratulations.
The rail can only carry you so far. So.
Yep, that's true. So congrats to the Minnesota Twins. We have voted, and they are the best Minnesota team in 2023. No
Nice.
surprise there, but it was close. Nope. I mean, give the Wild some credit. They were 46 and 25 this past year. We're not counting this year, but obviously that's what we got. So congratulations to the Minnesota Twins. Now, our next one, Voldy, we have favorite classic segment. Now, a little bit of history because, we're history buffs here on the show.
Of course.
Kind of, sort of. Previous years, Voldy, Tater Tot Hot Take has won 2 times in a row. And it's come down to, tie between that, Shield Shoutouts, Absurd Approved, Tater Tot Hot Take. Last year, Absurd or Approve won, finally, and people voted that as their favorite segment. So, claps out to the people on that. Will it happen this year? Third place, Shield Shoutouts. Shoutouts, third place. But that doesn't mean that it's very important that we do Shield Shoutouts every week. Doesn't mean that people just like what they like. Now,
how many votes did Shield Shoutouts get?
2. He'll take it.
Okay.
He'll take it.
Shout out to me and the other person that voted. So,
hey,
shout out to us.
Let's go. Second place, Absurd or Approved. They get knocked off their crown, or the segment gets knocked off. Tater Tot Hot Take. Sarah Ann Tuzvold wins again. She has they've won it 3 times. Won it 3 times. So claps out. Shout out to our creative consultant. So Tater Tot Hot Take. It's hot. It's fresh out the oven. People love it. I love it.
3 out of 4 years. That's awesome.
Yep. Hey, we're going on to 5, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Now let's move on to favorite special segment. Favorite special segment. There's a lot of there's a lot of them. Don't get me wrong. So don't blame us for obviously bringing you different type of segments and thought processes on certain things. So the segments that were nominated were that got votes, I should say. Let's just go with that. Callahan's School of Logic. Hey, let's go. Hey, I appreciate that. I didn't vote. I leave it to the zoners. I don't vote any of that.
Of course.
School Logic Infinity Rankings, which won last year, so that I'll take that any day. But coming in 4th place, a segment that's won before. Table Topics.
Nice.
More on that this next year. We've got some things coming your way. Mama Callahan's segment is doing quite well and will be for years to come now. Just saying. Our next one is still fairly new, but very fun. Tied for 3rd place. Where are they now? Where Are They Now get some love. I like that because I enjoy. Hey, we wouldn't have gotten Troy Stoudemire if we didn't talk about him. We wouldn't.
Nope.
We wouldn't have. And shout out to Troy Stoudemire. He is up for best guest this year as well. So, former Gopher, former Minnesota Viking, former Canadian Football League player as well. A lot of cool stuff with that. And then in second place, tied for second and third. Top 10 infamous list. Jameis is still going, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. I just appreciate that just because, infamous Jameis, he could make his way back onto the list. If the last NFL game wasn't a telltale sign, I don't know what would be. But, that's for another time. But the winner for favorite special segment, and this was close. This was very close. Voldy's Virtues.
Me. It's about me. I love me some me. Yes.
Who can quote that? That is T.O. You know what it is there. So, congratulations on Virtues, Voldy. This is a very happy thing that you got going. J-Man, Jared Doyle, Where Are They Now? Underrated. And we love that because me and Voldy enjoy doing that. But Voldy, acceptance speech, short acceptance speech. What do you got?
Wow, I mean, what can really be not said that isn't that I am the greatest when it comes to the special segments. All other special segments are just mere stains on the wall compared that it is of Voldy's Virtues. Because I do like that, and I love me some me. It's all about me when it comes to Voldy's Virtues, and any knowledge that I do throw your way can be next to godliness when it comes to it. So I certainly do appreciate all the zoners out there that did vote for Voldy's Virtues. All of you will be getting a shield shout out and maybe something beyond that as well. But at the end of the day, Voldy's Virtues is next to none because it was always Voldy's Virtues and we are number one. Thank you. Mic drop.
Mic drop. Boom. There we go. That is Voldy's acceptance speech for winning with Voldy's Virtues. So we got 3 more left. Okay. Best guest is on its way. It's on its way. Make sure you guys keep in tune because we got these last 3 are by far my favorite because our next one is biggest sports clown. We have a new clown this year. One of them. What's that?
We got a king clown, new king clown.
New king clown. This got really. First of all, I wasn't expecting this, and there's some there's some things behind that. So coming in last place, who got who got no votes, but I feel like this person should have. Clown Tony O'Brown. Tony O'Brown got 0 votes. But again, there's a lot of antics that have happened that people aren't really talking about because, he's just being a clown again,
Exactly.
But I'm kind of shocked on that. I don't know. The zoners. Yeah.
Like it used to be, so.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. So coming in 4th place for biggest sports clown. And zoners, if you have any nominations, things like that, let us know because they could end up on the infamous list. So keep that in mind. So 4th place, our favorite or least favorite / who's already inducted into the Hall of Shame, Dan Snyder. So Dan Snyder got a couple votes. I think last year Voldy Skip Bayless won after the Damar Hamlin thing he said. But after that, he was a close second, Dan Snyder. So
he was.
Who knows? He might still win it. You never know. He could do something stupid as well. Yep. All right. Let's move on to our 3rd place. Our 3rd place guy, I thought this was the favorite, but This doesn't necessarily surprise me as much. Ja Morant got third for biggest sports clown of the year. Well, obviously it kind of happened a little later on in
right.
Early on in the year, I should say. So that doesn't necessarily surprise me as much, but it is what it is there.
Mm-hmm.
Second, and I can't believe this. I thought I was watching this. Sean Payton got second.
Wow.
Now, this is very fitting. I mean, the stars would have aligned if he actually won, because it was very close. Today, I think it is the 15-year anniversary of the Vikings losing to the Ants in the NFC championship game. And it would have made so much sense, but you know what? I'm glad it didn't, because, and again, this is a whole different show.
Right.
We would be going all night talking about this. So Sean Payton gets second, but again, he's on the top of my list on a lot of things, especially with Infamous and everything. He's a piece of crap. Voldy, our number one clown of the year, and I think this is very deserving, especially what's happened these past few months and even weeks for some reason. Draymond Green. Draymond is the clown of 2023. So we don't really have booze, but Draymond tried to choke somebody out. He tried to knock somebody out, and then obviously he had to go away from the team for a while. And it was Draymond Green just showed why he is such a psycho when it comes to this stuff, and attacking people and just going overboard. And the league does nothing really except just take 3 weeks off. You're suspended indefinitely, but you'll be back soon. It's ridiculous. He deserved a longer suspension, and this, I don't know. Hopefully he's not slapping people, punching people, things like that. This dude punched a guy in the face not too long ago. Like, what are we doing?
He fought one of his own teammates, man.
One of his own teammates.
One of his own teammates in a practice, for God's sake.
Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, that's insane. That's insane. So, Draymond Green gets Sports Clown of 2023. And we don't feel sorry about it. We don't feel sorry about it at all. So that's deserving. Right. All right, Voldy. I was getting a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I was getting a little worried. Okay. But there's a lot of absurd statements that were said this past year.
Yes, a lot of them.
I don't care whether if you believe it, whether you don't believe it. I don't give a crap either way. But Austin Hanley, we'll start with him. He was one of the, he got last place. He doesn't become a two-time winner. He said before the Vikings and 49ers, which, again, both of us were like, I don't know if they're going to win this game at all, Mm-hmm. And he said in his absurd statement, which, again, it doesn't surprise me with this young man. He hates the Vikings. It's fine. He said that the Vikings have no shot in hell. Zero. Nada. Zilch. By Kirk. Sorry, guys. By Kirk, he says. The Vikings won that game. And,
they did.
I wouldn't say convincingly, but they won. So
they won.
I can see why that. Yeah, they won. That's all that matters. And I can see why, Voldy, that that one didn't win, because, granted, it wasn't so absurd, but there's a lot of absurd statements that were made. So, with that being said, let's move on to our next one. Blake Hockert. Oh, my friend Blake Hockert. He's very anti Kirk Cousins. He's very anti Kirk Cousins. He's very anti Vikings in general, We have these arguments all the time. All the time. He believes they should get rid of Kirk, just do this whole 5-year rebuild and there'll be a dynasty and things like that. Not how things work. But he said after the Vikings, he said not only one, but two absurd statements. We drafted Jalen Reagor 2.0 after drafting Jordan Addison. Well, I believe Jordan Addison had the most touchdowns on the team and almost had 1,000 yards in his rookie season. Pretty bad a pick so far, I guess. Cowboys are winning it all. It'll be Dak as MVP. Come on. You saw that. You saw that Packers game. They're an accident waiting to happen, as Stephen A. would say. But Blake Hawker gets doesn't get absurd statement. But that one I was kind of hoping, because there's some absurd statement with that. Mm-hmm. So then our next one, Mikey Ryan, obviously saying the Vikings are going to have a top 3 defense this year. Wasn't so absurd. Wasn't very so absurd. I mean, middle of the road with the defense, a lot of injuries the last 3 games. So Mikey, he goes, this is probably going to get me to absurd statement, but it didn't. So Mikey, congrats to you, my friend.
You held stout.
You don't have to worry about being so stout. Coming in third, Voldy, Kirk Cousins will be the MVP of the NFL this year. And Voldy, it was close, man. If Kirk doesn't get hurt, this is a different story. This is a different story.
Easy MVP. Yeah. Easy MVP for him.
MVP. So, I'm glad that didn't win, because that's, that was a very logical thing to say. And at the time, we're like, whoa, what is Voldy saying? But no. All right, we're just going to go with the first one because people are waiting for the best guess and all that stuff. So we're going to go. What's that?
Then make them wait. It's our show. We can do whatever. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Well, the Zoners show too. But with that being said, we'll give this a second. So the 2 absurd statements that were obviously it's yours truly and my cousin. Who is going to be a 2-time winner? I don't know. It was in fact a tie until somebody voted at the last second, which was obviously not me, but I can look that up, see who it was. And the winner of most absurd statement of 2023 is Jason Schmitz, saying Zach Wilson is better than Kirk Cousins. He's a 2-time winner.
My man.
There's a lot of absurd statements that he's made. And granted, I get that he's a Rams fan. I get you don't have a like for the Vikings. You like to rip on the Vikings, my cousin. But you know what? This is just outlandish. You can't just say Zach Wilson, who instead is sitting around. He's, not doing too much, especially with Aaron Rodgers. All he's doing is hooking up with his mom's best friends and, doing all this weird stuff instead of actually becoming a good football player. What is Kirk Cousins doing? Almost having a MVP season and gets hurt. How do you not? It's blasphemy. It's blasphemy in that sense of the word. My absurd statement, the Vikings are winning the division, but listen, if Kirk doesn't go down, they're already fighting for at least the second seed or the first. You never know. They beat the Niners. If you saw that game against Green Bay, they were up 24-3. 24-3. They were routing the Green Bay Packers. So mine, I'm shocked. I'm shocked in the sense that this almost won. When people don't realize if Kirk doesn't go down, this team is going to the playoffs. So I don't understand it. But you know what? I didn't have to deal with it. I'm not a 2-time winner, but my cousin is. It's time to clean up your act. I got to flip
With
this
the
over.
golden
Sorry.
dustpan. There
Golden
you go.
dustpan. You got to clean up your act.
sir.
Shout out to Rhino, and obviously, for inspiring us to get this put together. And shout out to Voldy to get that. So dustpan is back.
The dustpan disappeared many a year ago.
Yeah, it did.
So.
It did. It did. And we miss it. We do miss it. But that's
was
my
a good
rant.
one.
That's my rant. And we all know it. Vikings would be a playoff team right now. But that's for another discussion. All right. It's time,
The moment
baby.
we've all been waiting for.
The moment we've all been waiting for. It is time to reveal the best guest of 2023. And let me say, Voldy, there's a lot of people I was expecting more from. I'm not going to lie. I was expecting more from said people. Obviously, I will not reveal who got what votes and things like that. But I want to make. I'll go quick through this and then I'll get to our top people here. Let's start with Mitch Ribby. Shout out to Mitch Ribby. He got some votes. Claps out to Mitch. He was the Bears fan on our show. He did a great job. Shout out to him and all guests that have been on this show. You guys are all best guests to us and everything like that. This is just for fun, and obviously people like this. So, shout out to Mitch, and then also shout out to Mikey Ryan. Mikey Ryan is one of our top guys who come on, talk about the Vikings, and do a great job. So we appreciate Mikey for all his contributions, everyone's contributions as well. Alex Zappa, another guy who's done a fantastic job. We are talking with Zappa to get him back on the show. But let's get to our people that I was expecting more from. Cole Munson. Cole Munson, you are a previous champ to now a previous now a chump. A chump, I said. A chump. What is
Always
this?
was.
Come on, man. Get Ricky on the phone. Do it. Come on, dude.
Now retired from the NBA, Ricky Rubio.
Now, here's my next one. And this is surprising to me because I expected more. I expected more. And again, we have love for them. Double Trouble. Double Trouble.
Ooh.
Double Trouble. You guys are two-time champions. What is going on here? I can't believe it myself. I looked and I'm like, wow. Okay, I guess you're not going to defend the title? Oh.
We got new blood.
We got new blood. We have new blood now. So, with that being said...
Somebody took aim for the king, and they did not miss.
They did not miss.
Or the queens in this case.
They did not miss. But here's our fourth place person. Troy Stoudemire Jr., former Minnesota Vikings and Golden Gopher. Shout out to him.
Absolutely.
He was he was fantastic. I really enjoyed talking with Troy, and we had a fantastic time. The Stoudemire curse is in fact over, Voldy, as he announced on our show. So we're in good shape for the Gophers. But Troy Stoudemire, fantastic guest. We appreciate your contributions and whatnot. So he gets fourth. Now, third place, a strong outing for a first-time person. A strong outing. Joe Clements. Clements gets third place. Congrats to Joe. I ripped on his Cowboys these past 2 weeks. I still want to know his input on the current state right now of the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm curious to know the voice. The one thing that I feel like needs to be addressed. We got to get Joe on this show and talk about this because I feel like he's a very knowledgeable guy from when we did Lumberjacks night, and
yes, sir.
He's got to explain himself a little bit with his Cowboys. So, congrats to one Joe Clements for third place. Now, our second place person, we know very well. He has done a phenomenal job each time he's come on. And he has, he's you and him obviously have a, connection here too. DJ Vold, baby. To second place to Voldy's brother, DJ Vold. Hey, that's a strong performance for one DJ Vold. Coming back on for guests and whatnot. We talked about Kirko. We talked about the Jacks. We talked about a whole slew of things at our live show. And we had a fantastic time. I'm looking forward to the next one there. Thanks to DJ. And just want to reiterate to DJ Vold, Kirk Cousins, top 10, baby. Top 10. Top 10. Damn right. So, our winner.
I got a guess. I know who it is.
Do you? I don't know because, again, there's
still a few out there.
There's still a few out there. But, again, I give this person a lot of credit. They looked at, they knew the assignment. Let's just go with that. They knew the assignment. And I'm not going to lie, they passed with flying colors. Eric Moser gets the victory. Best guest of 2023. He is the new king of best guest of 2023. I can't wait for the comment section to blow up here. Congratulations. He knew the assignment, and he went in and he got it done. He says, boom, baby. Congrats to Eric, and I cannot wait.
Yes.
You'll be seeing him soon. Just saying. You'll be seeing him soon again, man. He started off our interview with some bets and some NHL picks, I believe it was, right?
Yes. Yep.
With the Super Bowl coming up, he's going to have some prop bets and stuff for us. We cannot wait to get him on, talk a little bit of that. And I need redemption. He says I need redemption. I love it. So Moser will be back on again. And congratulations. You are most deserving of this award because guess what? You knew the assignment and you got it done, man. So congrats to you. As we do here on the show, whoever wins best guest gets some merch. So I'm sure Shield will be talking. He's got it covered.
I got you, Daddy. I got you. Whatever you don't got, I got you.
Whatever you don't got, we got you. So with that being said, congratulations and congrats to all of our guests. We had a fantastic time with all of you. It doesn't matter who you are. And again, we're having good fun with Double Trouble and Cold Months. They're busy people. They got stuff going on, so we appreciate them.
Lives, man.
But again, Moser, he knew the assignment. He got it done. Congratulations to Eric, and we can't wait for Super Bowl special when we get some bets and things like that going. So we're looking forward to it. And that's going to do it for the 2023 Zoney Awards. Guys, that was fantastic. That was fun. A lot of upsets, which is, it's not uncommon. But guys, we give you guys claps because Voldy is a working man like myself. He's married. He's got a kiddo. He's very busy. We have, we're very busy people, and we love doing this for you guys because we enjoy, you guys enjoy seeing our faces, and we enjoy giving you all of our takes, and we enjoy listening to your takes as well. And we've had a lot of fun with this, and season 5, baby. Let's go, Voldy. More fun to be had with season 5. And Moser says, appreciate it, boys. Can't wait to be back. Let's go. Let's go, man. I'm looking forward to another another deal with Moser. And there are some guests that we do have lined up coming up this year. I just talked to Voldy about it.
24, here we go.
So keep an eye out. That is the Zoney Awards. And again, Voldy, it's our 4-year anniversary, baby. Let's go. We got the shades. We're having a party here. And the Zoner's favorite segment, our favorite segment of 2023 is Tater Tot Hot Take. So we got Hot Take. We're talking about Joemauer. And then after we talk about that, we got to talk about the AFC, NFC Championship games. Get your guys, Zoners, let us know who you got in those games, and we will read them off via our stream here. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. And we've got a lot with that. ARA, there's a lot going on with ARA, especially with Jimharbaugh being the next head coach of the LA Chargers. The Buccaneers left a timeout in their pocket, apparently. Josh Allen still open. Says the Bills still have the Super Bowl window open. Missed calls with the Wolves and Hornets. I got some thoughts on that. And then Rendon says baseball's too long. Interesting. So, but first, Voldy, it's time to do some Tater Tot Hot Take. It's time to talk about Hall of Famer Joemauer. Let's get it.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, just before we went back live here, I was trying to take a sip of water, and all this water just fell on me. So,
no.
What's wrong with me? I don't know. No. But this is the 4-year anniversary, and what better way to talk about a big deal for Minnesota sports fans. Well played, Mauer. You're a Hall of Famer. Claps out to Joe Mauer. I was hesitant at first to say he's going to be the first ballot and things like that because the Baseball Writers Association, whatever they call themselves, you never know what they're thinking. You never know if they're going to be like, hey, like so-and-so is going to win it and, things like that. So they pick guys that probably shouldn't be in, right? But this year, I think they got it right, Voldy. Joemauer, even though he's never won a World Series, even though, it doesn't matter if you've won a World Series or not, Joemauer should be first ballot. And he is a polarizing figure within Minnesota. And he's just Joe, man. He's just Joemauer, bro. And, congratulations to him. Voldy, we did have a thing. I think we did something on MinneZona a couple years ago with Joemauer. Talked about, and we thought Joemauer Hall of Famer, yes, no. Obviously a Twins Hall of Famer for sure. Already done with that. But Voldy, Zoners, what are your thoughts on Joemauer heading to Cooperstown?
I definitely think it's well-deserved for Joemauer to get into the Hall of Fame. Did I think it was going to be first ballot? I probably would have said no. I think it definitely would have taken a ballot. I thought he would have been close the first couple of times for him. Maybe just missing Al. But you know what? Just you look at what he all did from the perspective of his career. Obviously playing 15 seasons with his hometown team, playing primarily most of it as a catcher as well, and a very, especially him being the size that he was as a catcher at the time, was relatively unheard of, big, tall, strong catchers. But then after Joemauer, that became kind of the prototype for Major League catchers, just these big, tall, strong guys. Back when the position was just short, stocky, maybe kind of sawed off catchers as well.
Yeah.
But he was the total package. He could hit, he could throw, he could, command a pitching staff as well. And a lot of the success that the Twins had in the mid-aughts to the end of his career as well was in large in part, obviously, his presence in the lineup, but ultimately as well being able to command a less than subpar pitching staff into at least making it into the playoffs as well. And you look at, especially from the hitting perspective for him, 3 batting titles as a catcher, completely unheard of course, in his time and any time before that, winning the American League MVP in 2009 to close out the Metrodome, then taking that into Target Field. I mean, that's certainly a lot of great accolades for him to at least be able to say that he is a Hall of Famer. But I knew Joe Mauer was going to get in. I was more concerned for Todd Helton. I think Todd Helton should have been in the Hall of Fame a good while ago, and especially the fact that it's taken him this long to get there as well. More than happy for Todd Helton to get into the Hall of Fame too, because he was getting near, the at least a few ballots where it was going to be pretty close for him to not even get into the Hall of Fame. But happy enough for him to at least be able to get himself, especially people are going to throw out, obviously he played his whole career in Colorado, half of his career at, Coors Field with the thin air and the ball flying around. Look, you still got to hit the ball. I mean, obviously putting up the numbers that he did in his career, 500 plus doubles, 2,500 career hits, 300 plus home runs, 3 gold gloves, couple of batting titles as well, and taking a fledgling franchise on the brink of, obviously being bankrupt, and took it all the way to the World Series in 2007. It helped spark that city into a baseball town. Was certainly well worth in his time. And of course, Adrian Beltre, you throw right into it too. I mean, there's not too many bad things you can say about Beltre. The guy was a character, and especially one heck of a player as well. But Joe Mauer, Beltre, and obviously Helton getting into the Hall of Fame, a very much deserved class.
Stamps of approval all around. The other thing with Joe, and obviously there's a lot of us that know what he's been about and what he's like as a person. He's not only a great baseball player, but Joe is a great person. He, charities, whether it's, things, that he's been head of. He just wrote a children's book with Joe Schmidt a week ago or so, I think now. And, Joe's a polarizing figure here in Minnesota. And to play with the Twins for that long, Voldy and Zoners, is quite impressive, because everyone thought, well, maybe Joe wants to win one because he ain't winning it here, especially with those damn poll ads. But I wouldn't have been mad if he went to go try and win a ring, somewhere. And I wouldn't have been mad at all. But how he's been, to the community and to Minnesota, and being that loyal, I mean, it goes a long way. And only striking out once in high school just shows how good, he was. Yeah. He's a great catcher. Obviously, that wears, and there's a lot of wear and tear of being a catcher, and then, him going to first base and whatnot. I've seen all the videos and, things like that people have posted with Joe, and his swing is iconic. It is absolutely iconic, and is insane how he's been able to get on base, throw people out. His arm is unbelievable. I mean, shoot, if Joe said, yeah, maybe I don't want to do baseball, and played football, played at Florida State for, or Bobby Bowden, could he be a Viking?
Wouldn't have been mad. Wouldn't
have been mad. But it'd be in an alternate universe. You wonder though too. In an alternate universe,
Joe Mauer would be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Who knows?
Yeah, and who knows? Could have been able to bring a title in Minnesota. Who knows? And I'm joking. Don't nominate me for.
Lord help me.
So. We could go for hours and things like that, but one thing that's very interesting, he's joining Johnny Bench and Pudge, Ivan Rodriguez, as the only catchers to be voted in the Hall of Fame in their first year of eligibility. So he's in some, Joe's up there with those guys being first ballot. Hey, that's something that very strong. Congrats to Joe Mauer, 7 for life, twin for life. I'm sorry the poll ads are so dumb that they can't figure out how to put together a team and build around you, but you are a Hall of Famer, and congrats to Joe. Appreciate you, Joe.
Real quick, Matt, too.
Yes.
Obviously, with baseball writers, deciding who goes in the Hall of Fame, a couple of names just missed out on making the Hall of Fame this year, and quite possibly their final times on the ballot, too. Missing it by just 5 votes this year was former All-Star closer Billy Wagner, a guy that should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. The closer position, definitely something that gets overlooked a lot. If your name is not Trevor Hoffman, Mariano Rivera, from that point, everybody after that is kind of an afterthought. 289 votes are needed to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And Billy Wagner got 284. 5 votes, and he's no longer going to be on the ballot. I believe this was his last year on the ballot, if not very close to. And then you also look at another name that should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. Gary Sheffield, 246 votes this year. A guy that spoke out against steroids in baseball and basically has been crucified for it. And people are saying maybe he did steroids, maybe he did it, but he's the guy that's pointing all the fingers, and yet he's the one that is still getting a backlash to this day for it. Guy that wasn't really liked by a lot of teammates, or, definitely said some things about other teammates. Him and Derek Jeter kind of had a falling out towards the end of his career in New York. And, especially a guy that was a power hitter, played a lot of positions, played on a lot of teams as well in his career. But still, Gary Sheffield should definitely be in the Hall of Fame for sure, especially with the numbers that he's put up in his career, that he's missed out and quite possibly will be missed out with at least the writer's ballot. Now it'll be taken to like the Veterans Committee after this point too. And you would think hopefully that would garner a little bit of traction in years to come too. But it's just unfortunate that the baseball writers can't get off their pedestals that they hold such near and dear, that they can't recognize the true greatness that is. And this is a conversation and something that I've been talking about with a lot of people recently, is that why is it baseball is the only sport that the writers, people that have no influence on the game itself, that decide whether some of the elites of the sport get entered into this hallowed ground that is of the Hall of Fame too. While every other sport, it's a combination of writers, front office people, former players, coaches, all these different people that have a direct impact on the game or had a direct impact at the time of said players that are that were on the field or maybe have worked with in the past. Yet baseball is the one sport still to this day that has a bunch of nobodies deciding whether or not they're good enough to join the exclusive club that is the Baseball Hall of Fame. Again, off my high horse and off my soapbox for that. But it's just unfortunate Billy Wagner and Gary Sheffield won't be joining the Baseball Hall of Fame at this point.
Well, they need a committee, or however they do the NFL, or and whatnot. They got to figure out get these guys out of here is what I say. But get Sheffield and Wagner and the whole kit and caboodle. Todd Helton finally getting in. I mean, that's awesome. Key. Beltre was one of my favorite baseball players too. So, yeah. That being said, congrats to the guys who got it, especially joemauer and whatnot. So, all right, Voldy, real quick before we get into ARA, the games this past week. We had some picks. Yes. Some picks worked great. Some picks did not. We tried to save face. We'll talk about the game in a second. But let's quick. Yeah. I mean, we're going to quickly go through it because we want to get to the the games that are coming up here. So, Houston and Baltimore. It was tied 10-10 at half. But the Ravens, whatever halftime speech Lamar Jackson had, they dominated that second half.
Yep.
It doesn't surprise me. Lamar was throwing dimes, and they ran the ball really well. When you have Hill, when you have Edwards, and by the way, you have the chef Dalvin Cook now in your backfield along with Lamar Jackson. It's good. They're going to be hard to stop, and especially the weapons you have at wide receiver: OBJ, Zay Flowers, all that stuff. But C.J. Stroud, wouldn't you say, has a bright future though? Obviously they still need some pieces and whatnot, but this one didn't surprise me that Baltimore won, and we'll just kind of see how things go. But Voldy, what are your thoughts on that game, real quick?
Yeah, I just thought it was obviously a very competitive first half, especially with Houston, kind of playing with house money at that point, going up against a very tough Baltimore squad as well. You thought maybe with, obviously having the week off there, how that was going to really impact things for them too, or at least, coming into that where, Houston's a team that's right in the hot hand right now, how that was going to play out. But, Baltimore stuck with it. And, you give Lamar an actual running game and actual wide receivers to work with too. And he's shown what he can do. And glad to see that's finally coming through. And very interesting coming up here with the championship game. But again, we'll talk about that more soon.
Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews now. I mean,
oh yeah, don't forget they got Odell. Oh yeah, they got Zay Flowers on top of it as well.
Oh, they have Rashad Bateman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they have Rashad Bateman. Oh yeah, they've got 4 running backs, and oh yeah, they still have Lamar who can string one out every once in a while.
And their defense, I mean, shut them out in the second half. So their defense is good. Roquan Smith, their corners are solid. Hamilton's a beast. The safety, Notre Dame. Maybe the Vikings should have picked him. Just saying. So after that game, we have the Coach Payne's Niners and the Green Bay Packers. Crossbody Jordan Love. He's elite, guys. He's been on fire. He destroyed the Cowboys. Well, see what happens when you go up against a real team that's legit. He's got a little bit of ways to go, but Brock Purdy didn't look great. I will say that. No. There's a lot of question marks, especially with Deebo Samuel out. Your thoughts on that game? What do you got?
Yeah, I think this one was more of as much of a home field advantage in that contest than it was the actual performance of the team too. Because there were a lot of missed opportunities there for San Fran. George Kittle didn't look 100%. Dropped a couple of easy balls. Brock Purdy was less than 100%, and I think more of the weather conditions and being the road team for Green Bay is what ultimately did them in. But I think in that one there are a lot of things that clean up from that contest, but it's certainly not going to get any easier, especially now that you got Detroit coming in. But I definitely can see how a lot of those can be addressed. But yeah, if Deebo's out, they're going to be looking a little bit more interesting, especially if they got to have to rely a lot more on Christian McCaffrey, who's taken a lot of licks here throughout the season.
Yes, definitely has, and I will say there's a little bit of angst of what's been going on with Green Bay and how they've played. They actually, I feel like, outplayed San Fran in a good chunk of that game. So, but the Niners move on, and we're just gonna get right into the next one. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Detroit Lions. We'll talk a little bit more about that game in ARA. But Detroit's just got a lot of weapons, man. I mean, they really have a lot of weapons that I think they're going to give San Fran a run for their money. I'll give my thoughts on that in a second. And we want your guys' thoughts, too. Feel free to chime in as well. Bitstream TV says, join late, who won best guest? Is it too late to vote for Moser? Well, good for you, because Moser, yes, did win. Best guest.
There you go, Brian. Now you know.
Now you know. There it is. Moser is the victor for this year. More on him coming up in a couple weeks. So stay tuned with that. So that being said, there's a lot of, I think a lot of the NFC North and its fans have lost a lot of respect for the Detroit Lions fans as well. The kneecap thing, obviously, Kirby Joseph and his BS. He's honestly, I should have nominated him for, clown of 2023. But are we kind of leaning towards San Fran, wanting San Fran to win here as Vikings fans and whatnot? I mean, what do you think on that, Voldy? Kind of switching gears for a second. We know they won, so what do you got?
Hell yeah, I want San Fran to win. A couple of reasons why. One, if the Detroit Lions make it to the Super Bowl and end up finding a way to win the Super Bowl before the Minnesota Vikings do, there is a window about 30 feet from where I sit. I will promptly throw myself through that window, and whatever is at the very bottom will be coursing through my body at that point. Because if the Lions win a Super Bowl before the Vikings do, again, it's not going to end well, and it will definitely never end well for the Vikings at that point. And we will forever be the laughing stock of the NFC North, because at least at the end of the day, we were better than the Lions in many years. And, well, unfortunately, that's not the case at this current point. Now looking at, I'm sure we'll break it down more once we talk about it here. But, yeah, yes. I definitely want San Fran to win that one.
Okay, well, there you go. Hey, guess who's finally tuned in? Alex, our guy, Alex.
That guy.
I'm late. Has Cole won yet? Well, guess what, Alex? He did not win. He did not win. And, you want to know the reason why? He had every opportunity to get that link and send it out to people. Apparently, he couldn't share it or something like that. There's no excuses. People are able to share it. He fumbled the ball much like turning over the ball like Ricky Rubio. So you got that. So, no, he did not win. And he is at full fault for that. He is. I'm sorry. So, and again, it's all in good fun. But, yes, he did not win that. So, yes, you did mention that. We'll talk more about that game and kind of the details of ARA here. But, okay, this next game, we could go on for a long time about this game. But we got some stuff to talk about, in ARA with this too. So, Bills, Chiefs. The Swifties move on. I thought the Bills were going to win. You thought the Bills were going to win because this was their time. This was their time to finally beat the Chiefs, and they blew it. They pulled the Minnesota Vikings wide right or left. Was it? No, it was right. It was a wide right with Bass, and then missed throw from Allen. Diggs apparently has the case of the dropsies now. Probably wants out of Buffalo. Who knows? But Voldy, this game disappointing if you are a Bills fan, and disappointing if you're the Bills right now. This was your prime opportunity to beat them at your place, and they couldn't get it done. What are your thoughts?
I mean, like I had mentioned going into this contest too, the stars were aligned in a year where things were going right. This could have very well been the right time for the Bills to get past the Chiefs and get to the AFC Championship game without having to play the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl, because he had home field advantage. The Chiefs were less than 100% on the field, off the field, in their heads, in their cars, at their homes. Everything was not going right for the Chiefs here throughout the season. Same thing with the Bills. The Bills were more of an on-the-field kind of issues for them right then. But missed opportunities once again. Wide right comes back to haunt Buffalo once again, and just a couple of missed chances on the field there, and just the Bills could just not get out of their own way at the very end. And I just don't understand what needs to happen, what sacrifice needs to happen for Buffalo in order for something to happen. But again, just missed opportunities at the very end for them.
Missed opportunities. The Chiefs go on. Jason Kelce was the best part of that whole game, I feel like.
1,000%.
It was a lot of fun watching that. And again, not too much of T Swift either. That was fun. Yeah. Jason Kelce. More Jason Kelce. I'm calling for more Jason Kelce.
Shirtless Jason Kelce.
Yes, gentleman. Exactly. What a great guy.
That man's a father.
Yeah, he's a father. He introduced those kids to T Swift. That's cool. Mm-hmm. I want to see that. Awesome. I don't care. It's the networks that are at fault. Again, no problems. No problems with T Swift. No problems with T Swift at all. They got the relationship, whatever. It's the network's fault for putting that camera up there. This is ridiculous. More Jason Kelce. Even if Tyler Bass made that field goal, they gave too much time again. Yeah, no, Alex is right. I agree with that. What I'm saying is, if he makes that, then you never know what happens. But again, this is the Bills getting in their own way. They had plenty of opportunities to kind of put the nail in the coffin, but they couldn't. Mm-hmm. And again, their defense was was lacking. You know, they lost a lot of guys to injury too, so let's not forget that. All right, let's get to the AFC Championship here, Voldy. Since we're talking about the Chiefs, obviously.
Yep.
The Ravens, I'm leaning towards the Ravens. And the reason why I am is because I feel like they're more complete. Granted, the defense for the Kansas City Chiefs has been phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. They're very good. L'Jarius Sneed, Chris Jones, Bolton at linebacker. You have guys that are Karlaftis has really come on as well in his second year. So this is a team defensively that can get stops. Now, offensively, you look at Mahomes and you see what Kelsey has done. This past game against the Bills is what they need. They need that catalyst, and it wasn't just Rashee Rice, this time. It was Travis Kelsey. It was Pacheco. He runs like his hair's on fire, and he runs over people. So Pacheco's a heck of a player. But I look at the Ravens. They're at home. They got Lamar's playing out of his mind. He's got a chip on his shoulder. I'm taking the Ravens, man. Go Ravens. The Ravens, they have the defense. The stars are aligned. If they lose, then there's some decisions that probably have to be made. Whether depending on how they lose. If it's a close game, they probably won't have to do much. But Lamar's playing at a high level right now. Their run game's fantastic. I think they're going to win this game. I won't give a score, but I'm taking the Ravens. Alex says Ravens. They have a better defense, and they are at home. Boom. Just what I said. So, Voldy, what do you think?
Look at how this matchup's going to really come down. I feel like it's going to be with these two teams, which defense is going to make the play when they really need it the most. And I think with the more complete defense that they have, I'm going to go with Baltimore on this one too. Nothing against Kansas City, all the things against Kansas City really, but they're a banged up team. Obviously, Jarius Sneed's played a heck of a season as well. Got roughed up in that game against the Bills as well. Got burned for a touchdown, first touchdown he's given up, I think, if not all year or at least in the postseason to begin with, too. Obviously there was a few holes in that defense, too. That linebacking core is a little bit more banged up. Guys were limping into that game against Buffalo and see what they can do to really match up against a, quick moving, high flying offense for the likes of Baltimore too. And for Baltimore, like I've been saying too, they've got the diversity on offense. They've got the receivers. They've got the tight ends as well. They've got the running the game to go with, and if they can protect Lamar Jackson like they did against Houston, certainly can make it a heck of a contest as well. And that defense, a lot of guys they've picked up along the way. Patrick Queen, I think they've got Roquan Smith. Kyle Van Noy, of all people, has had a resurgence at the linebacking spot for them. Jadeveon Clowney as well from the D tackle position has really stepped up his game here throughout this season too. So guys they've picked up along the way have really stepped up in big ways for Baltimore. I think the defense is going to have to make a play. And I think when it comes down to it, Baltimore's defense is going to be the one to step up in that big game situation at home as well. Give me Baltimore for the AFC Championship.
Go Ravens, flock. Caw-caw.
Yes, sir.
So, NFC. The San Francisco 49ers at home against the Detroit Lions. That is so weird to say, even right now. I'm really under the impression, I'm one of those people right now, Voldy. If Deebo Samuel doesn't play, the Lions might win. They might win, man. They look like a completely different team without Deebo Samuel. If Deebo Samuel does not play, they are in trouble, especially the way Brock Purdy played against Green Bay. They've taken notes. Dan Campbell's been taking notes, and you have, Glenn, their defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, who's been taking notes. They'll have a plan, and that's scary. Mm-hmm. But they're not at home. The Lions struggle on, outdoors. They do struggle a little bit outdoors. Not saying that they're gonna, struggle in this game. But you know, there's things to be kind of wary of here. But if Debo plays, I got the Niners. If Debo doesn't play, I hate to do this. I just hate to do this. I think the Kitties is going to win. I'm not going to say if Debo plays, Niners win. If Debo does not play, Lions, I think, get the victory somehow, some way, because Dan Campbell's got these guys playing for each other. Unless Kirby Joseph tries to take out another knee of like George Kittle or Debo, like if that happens, I'm gonna be so pissed. I mean, this guy should be suspended. You know, absolutely. But yeah, I'm going with that. Voldy, what do you got?
I really don't want to give myself an out on this one. You look at, obviously, the situation with San Fran. Debo potentially being out. If he doesn't play, that hurts. But they have a suitable weapon as a backup, too, for them. Obviously, we know Christian McCaffrey, he's going to get the looks. But
True.
they do have a guy that can fill in, obviously, from the running back position. I mean, they've got a fullback, Kyle Juszczyk. Obviously, he's not a purebred running back, but he's a suitable guy. Is he Debo Samuel? Absolutely not. They've got enough weapons on the receiving side for them. But if Brock Purdy plays the way he does against the Lions like he did against, Green Bay, it's going to be a rough afternoon. But another big thing, it's going to be at home for San Fran. That is a huge likelihood because we saw the effects of what that Bay Area weather can do. It can change in a heartbeat. It can start raining any second there at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. Raining like it was going out of style there. So Debo being hurt, if he doesn't play, that hurts. But I feel like San Fran will find a way. I don't want to go Detroit in this one. So I'm going to go with my gun in this one. Bang, bang, Niner gang to the Super Bowl, NFC champions.
All right. So Niners and Ravens for the Super Bowl. Oh,
just like
another
Super Bowl
rematch.
Logo intent.
Yeah, another rematch. Another rematch. I think that's what it's going to be too. So Alex has got the Niners. Goff doesn't do well. When defense is really good, has a really good pass rush. Don't forget Chase Young, Bosa, Armstead. They've got They got a lot of playmakers on that defense. So. I'm going to take the Niners officially, but if Debo doesn't play, oh boy, that's all I got to say with that.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, we'll see what happens because we'll be keeping an eye on things, and obviously we will be talking about the games either way. If the Lions win, so be it. If KC wins, well, damn it. That's all I gotta say. Damn it. All right. With that being said, Voldy, it's time to do some ARA. There's been a lot of talk regarding a lot of coaching positions in the NFL and things like that. So we got a plethora of great ARAs, and a lot of them concerning this past weekend too. So I say we get it going with some Observed or Approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, it is time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, the NBA finally came out and fessed up like, yeah, we messed up with officiating from the contest that took place on Monday between the Charlotte Hornets and the Minnesota Timberwolves, a game that featured 10 incorrect calls in the last 2 minutes, which ultimately featured a 128-125 victory for the Hornets, storming back from an 18-point deficit against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Oh, yeah, that game also was 62 points for Karl Anthony Towns, and yet nobody is talking about it because Joel Embiid decided to go off for 70 points that same night.
Of course.
Too little, too late, I guess, in that contest, and yet nobody's ever talking about 62 for Karl-Anthony Towns. But you look at it, of course, the 3 of the incorrect calls favored Minnesota and 6 towards Charlotte, including a couple of missed opportunities that would have, missed calls that would have sent players to the free throw line, given that current situation as well at the time of when those calls should have taken place during the game as well. But you look at how things did shape up, and ultimately the Timberwolves did give up, in that 18-point lead to ultimately lose that contest. Is it absurd or approved that the NBA's report validates why the Timberwolves lost that contest by 3 points?
No, it doesn't, because they were up 18 points. They were up 18 points, and they should have shut the door on this team. I mean, with this, if they're going to be a serious team, they need to close out games against bad teams. The Hornets are, in fact, a bad team. They're not, they got some players, sure, whatever. But they got caught up in personal accomplishments, and they wanted Cat to get it. I understand that. But when you just focus all your energy on one guy and not do it for team, that's when I have an issue. And Finch said he thought it was disgusting, and he said it. They got what they deserved. We got what we deserved. An L, a big fat L. Now, with that being said, was Cat fouled on that one for him to go to the line? Yes, I will say so. There were calls in that game for both teams that really got screwed up, and they have admitted it with the, NBA, like you were saying. Now, the Wolves, no matter what, though, the Wolves should have lost that game, because if you're going to be a serious contender, if you're going to get things done, what I'm seeing right now, they're playing right now, they're up 108-96 against the Wizards. The Wizards are terrible, too. So, finish this game out, get this done, and get that win, because you just got knocked out of first place by OKC, who was a close game, and you should have won that game, too. So, with that being said, Voldy, the NBA report validates why the Wolves lost? No, I think it's absurd. I think the Wolves validated why they lost, and they had plenty of opportunities to get that done. Were there bad calls? Sure. But at the same time, it shouldn't have come to that. That's just my spiel on that. Zoners, let us know what you think, too. I'm curious. But Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, I think it's completely absurd in my mind, because ultimately at the end of the day, 18-point lead, you should definitely be able to close that out. I just like the fact that the NBA is coming out with these reports saying, yeah, our officials, they screwed that up, and we're going to be looking into that more to kind of, keep things under control, because, we've seen in the past too how officials can fix games and, keeps point spreads at a certain number and everything, and how that can all validate a lot of things too. But the report coming out saying that there were 10 missed calls in the last 2 minutes, I don't know about you, that feels like a lot, and especially 2 minutes of basketball game that could take half an hour to play out, just because that's how NBA basketball plays in that realm too. But an 18-point deficit for the Hornets, I mean, good on them that they were able to claw back into it, but definitely it is completely absurd. It should have not happened. The Timberwolves should have definitely closed that out, especially against a Hornets team that is fledgling, to say the least.
It's a good way to put it. So they did it to themselves. Now it's 108-99. Please, for the love of God, win. Just get this win. That's all I got to say. Alex says, welcome to my life. Jokic literally, here, hold on, gets literally cuts all over his arms and gets no calls. That's just what the NBA
guy doesn't want to be there
right now. Yeah, so
just wants to be back in Serbia with his horses.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, of course, the disappointment of the divisional round for the Buffalo Bills came down to a missed field goal, 27-24, a loss for the Buffalo Bills. A field goal that would have tied the game in the waning moments of that regulation contest. But ultimately, the Buffalo Bills will not make it to the Super Bowl this year or get past the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs once again, which does raise a whole lot of questions and even concerns for the Bills as their championship window. Does it continue to start closing here at this point? But quarterback for the Bills, Josh Allen, said he expressed confidence and isn't worried about the window closing. And that is going to be, as he was quoted as saying, I believe in what we got going here and the people that are in charge. I believe in myself, and that'll never change, saying that that championship window is not closing. I know that you and me both personally have said here that if this year wasn't going to be the year, maybe you got one more year with this group that they have. I think even this year we said, if it doesn't happen this year, it's probably not going to happen. But with, of course, Josh Allen coming out saying that he still has confidence in that championship window, is it absurd or approved? Will the Bills ever find their mojo in the playoffs to get past the Kansas City Chiefs and get into that championship window again?
So they fixed one thing that they weren't able to really improve on in previous years is the run game. They got Josh Allen. Okay, fine. But James Cook, Latavius Murray, playoff Lenny, Leonard Fournette, that mix of backs in that backfield really helped propel them with their offense. They needed guys to really extend drives and be able to give Josh Allen some, it doesn't always have to be on Josh Allen's shoulders is what I'm saying. So you have that going for you. I'm sorry. I got really distracted because Rudy Gobert got fouled and this guy is freaking out. This Wizards player was freaking out and fell on his ass and was like, what? Oh my God, that's funny. But with Josh, the run game, like I said, with their run game, they fixed that. But their defense has gotten worse. I mean, yeah, they had the injuries, they've had, things, but Von Miller, I'm sorry, old, and, got a legal thing going on, too. Don't forget that. And they need some fresh blood in there. They need to add more to not just Micah Hyde and Poyer, because they're good, they're very good tandem safeties, but Tre'Davious White can't stay on the field, it seems like. They need to add some more depth in their corners, linebackers, and they need more pass rushers. They got to add more for their defense in order for them to be a complete team. So let me answer this question. And his comments, I don't have an issue with his comments. I think he's trying to be the leader of this team. But here's the question. What's Diggs' mindset at right now? I mean, have they been covering something up? Is there something going on? Hard to say. So will they find their mojo past the Chiefs? If they do those things I just mentioned, if they go out and add kind of more to their defense to kind of combat the Chiefs, because they're in their way all the time. Granted, the Bengals, with a healthy Joe Burrow, you got to be, cognizant of that too. So I'm going to say absurd. I don't think I don't see them getting past them because they have a lot of big contracts. Diggs is going to get paid. I think he's in the last year of his contract. Allen obviously takes up a lot of that cap space, so I don't foresee it, but that can change. Alex says Diggs is enjoying his time in Cancun. He probably is. Diggsy probably is. Good one, Alex. I love it. Voldy, what do you think?
I look at the situation. A lot of things have to happen not in the Bills' control for it to happen. Obviously, if Kansas City finds a way to get it back to the Super Bowl, even win the Super Bowl, I feel like a lot of those pieces from that championship run will start to scatter a little bit. Okay, that'll be the benefit to the Bills. But then you look at, let's look at the division. The Miami Dolphins, how are they going to bounce back after this year? What's Aaron Rodgers and the Jets going to do? I'm already counting out the Patriots for next season. Don't quote me on that as well. But, hey, weirder things have happened. True. You brought up with Cincinnati and a healthy Joe Burrow. a whole bunch of teams looking to improve as well. What's Pittsburgh going to be like next season? Even obviously with Baltimore too, they're in the championship game. I mean, they certainly could make a run and quite possibly do the same thing next year as well with the pieces that they have. A lot of that money is going to be for the Bills in this case. Obviously, you did bring up too with a lot towards Joshallen, but then you look at that defense. You did bring up too, obviously with Von Miller. He's probably going to be done here, if not this year, maybe next year. Who knows at that point? Not the same player that he was 2, 3, 4 years ago, especially in that championship run with the Rams. Those all-pro safeties that they have and Pro Bowlers that they have on the defensive backfield side. How are they going to stick around if a lot of that money is going to Josh? Are they going to take the hometown discount? Or are they going to try and get their money somewhere else with those big money contracts, or see the light at the end of the tunnel and say, you know what, maybe we should try and stick this one out and try to bring one back for Buffalo? Feel like a lot of those players, they definitely get that they want to be a part of something in Buffalo, but at the end of the day, money talks, and you know what, BS takes the bus basically. I feel like are they going to find their mojo past the Chiefs? No, I feel like it's going to be the Chiefs that are going to have to fall on their own sword in order for the Bills to find their way. So I think it's absurd.
There you go. All right. Next one, Voldy.
So we stay in the divisional round, but we swap over to the NFC, and something that came to mind without even thinking about it, in the waning moments of that 31-23 divisional round loss, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a timeout in their back pocket with a third down kneel down from the Detroit Lions to basically seal the game at that point. But the Bucs still had a timeout. They very well could have pulled that timeout, forced them to kick the ball, and quite possibly at least have some sort of less than 1%, less than 0.1% of a chance to maybe huck one into the end zone and quite possibly make it a much closer game at that point. But a lot of people have been investing in that, but head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Todd Bowles, did come out and say, without recognizing, he said, at that point, the game was over. It's not a gentleman's agreement. They were in field goal range. We'd have 12 seconds calculated after using that time out. Then we would have been down 11 points, so it was kind of pointless. You know when the game is over. At that point, the game was over. But still, you would think that the Lions in that case, if they would have had to use kick a field goal, you think they would have done something, or maybe just try to punt it deep or something, or maybe a quick little pooch kick of some sort to at least force the Bucs deep out of their own end of the field to try and huck one up towards the end zone, or at least 1,000 laterals later to get it to end the contest too. But in that given situation, of course, with it being a playoff game on the road for the Bucs, is it absurd or proved? Should the Bucs have called that timeout to the Lions if they would have forced their hand to either kick the field goal, maybe make it or miss it, or possibly punt the ball and pin the Bucs deep?
No, because Baker already screwed it up with his interception. I will say the Bucs had their chances. I just think, I mean, let's just say that they do. Yeah, they have like an inkling of a chance, to punt, and see what happens. But
right.
I think it's absurd. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's like, well, if you would have done this. I mean, Baker, he did okay, but I'm telling you, the interceptions that he had were pretty bad. I just don't think that they would have been able to. But if you're Todd Bowles in this case, I understand, like, okay, maybe you should have, as a coach, taken that time out, but I don't think it would have made a difference either way. But I understand from that perspective to be like, well, it's pretty much over anyway, and whatnot. But, you don't give up. I mean, this is the NFL. Like, I get that. But I think it's absurd. I don't think even if they did, I wouldn't necessarily say they'd have that much of a chance just because, they struggled blocking, for one. A lot of free runners at Baker Mayfield that game.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really concern me. Would they have had a chance? Maybe, but no, not really.
We don't know. We don't know now.
We don't know now. Voldy, what do you think?
I think not using the timeout, I feel like that was a missed chance on that one. I mean, obviously both teams had their opportunities to put the game away. The Bucks, you lose the turnover battle, you don't really deserve to win the game, but they certainly would have had a chance, on that previous drive if Baker doesn't throw the interception. But Baker at that point was running for his life and trying to fit a ball somewhere that it definitely shouldn't have, and he'd made some wild throws, and his receiver, Mike Evans, definitely bailed him out in a lot of different chances throughout that contest too. But it's unfortunate because we won't know. I mean, you would feel like as a head football coach in that situation, you'd want to do anything to try and get your team a chance to at least get the ball with any time remaining on the clock. Yeah. It would have been mere seconds, or, you force the other team to make a decision. Okay, do we kick a long field goal? Do we take do we try to run around for a few moments? Do we try to punt them and pin them deep or something? At least, not give them as much time as they can. But again, you never know what would happen as that one. I would have felt like that the Bucs should have definitely called that timeout to at least give it a look. And again, we won't know at this point. I think it's absurd. I think the Bucs should have definitely called the timeout.
Well, we're not going to, like you said, not going to know now. They lost, whatever. All right, last one, Voldy.
Well, riding the high off winning a national championship for his alma mater, University of Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh is leaving the program that brought him into the world of the NFL to go back to the NFL, this time as head coach for the Los Angeles Chargers, as that agreement will be coming into play here in the coming days. But an agreement is taking place that Harbaugh will leave college to go back to the pros to serve as the next head coach for the Los Angeles Chargers at this point, a team that he played for previously in his NFL career when they were in San Diego as well. So Jim Harbaugh back in the NFL once again after winning a national championship. He was, fledgling for a couple of years, but bringing the title back home to Ann Arbor. Now he's going to try his hand back in the NFL, and it wasn't for a lack of effort in the NFL. He had some good seasons in San Francisco coming off his initial run there. It got him to a Super Bowl as well. So do you think it's absurd or approve the fit with the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh? Will they be good for each other back in the NFL for Jim Harbaugh?
Look, Alex says, I'm not scared of Jim. Chargers will always Charger. It might be. Maybe it's the culture there. Who knows? I don't know. But here's what I'll say. They need a kick in the ass, especially with what they've dealt with Brandon Staley and whatnot. Oh, Justin Herbert's a talented quarterback. They have a good backfield. I don't know if I don't know if his contract's up or he wanted out last offseason. Maybe he still does. Yeah. I don't know. But they have a lot of talented wide receivers. Keenan Allen's good. You add in Mike Williams coming back from injury. I mean, we'll see what happens, what they do, or what Harbaugh does with their, personnel. But I think this one's got my stamp of approval just because they need, like I said, they need a kick in the ass because the culture there was, I mean, they're good, but now they're kind of not. There's a lot of stuff that they need to fix, and I feel like Harbaugh can do that. The question to me is, and quick update, the Wolves up 118-104. They will get the win against the Wizards. Thank God. Thank you. So they got it done. Okay, 107 now. They just got a measly 2. So I think this is a good fit. I really do. Harbaugh does a great job with quarterbacks that, Alex Smith. I mean, look what happened with him. He did great. Colin Kaepernick gets, put into the spotlight, does really well as well. Until the bitter end and all that. But now you have a quarterback with Herbert, and Harbaugh, I think, is going to get along pretty well with Herbert, I think. The question is, I mean, are you prepared to deal with the personality that is Jim Harbaugh? So it'll be interesting to see the dynamic and see, what things they change in Los Angeles. And Joe Clements is probably smiling cheek to cheek now that Harbaugh is out of the Big Ten. So, yeah, stamp of approval. I think this is a good fit. Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, I think it's definitely one, like you had said, the Chargers definitely need a swift kick in the ass as well. Because their previous head coach, I mean, that guy was scared of his own shadow to make any sort of decision, especially when it came on fourth down. They were a team that vastly under what's the word I'm looking for? Underperformed. There we go.
Yeah.
Underperformed since they gave up that 20-point playoff lead against the Jaguars. Was that last year? I think that was in the wild card, the divisional round. Yep. They were up 20. Was it 27-0 at halftime? 24-0, and ultimately blow that one. From that point on, it was no good. I mean, they've had these big contracts, these big name players come through who have definitely underperformed. Khalil Mack is still there and has been radio silent basically since he got there as well. You got one of the Bosa brothers who's literally willing that defense to life week after week. Justin Herbert, when healthy, is definitely a viable threat in many ways, but again, when healthy and making the right decisions, he is definitely a quarterback you definitely don't want to sleep on as well. But with the way the offense has been rolling, Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator this past year, I don't want to say it was bad, but wasn't as good as it could be, especially with dealing with those finger troubles that Herbert did with the second half of the season for sure. So if that team fully healthy, like you had said, with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams as well, the tight ends, Donald Parham has also been a nice threat for them too in the last couple of seasons. You're not really quite sure what you're going to get with the running game there, especially with Eckler, if he's going to try and get another big contract out of them, or if he's just going to play out and maybe try to find somewhere else too. There's a few question marks there. I think this will definitely be a good fit for them. Now it's just which Harbaugh are we going to get? Are we going to get the Harbaugh in San Francisco where he was just, as maniacal as can be? Or are we going to get the Harbaugh the last couple of years where it's just been kind of, for lack of a better term, laid back dad vibes, if you will. It's just all right, just much more calm, cool, collected. Or are we going to get the early years of Harbaugh where he's stomping up and down the sidelines and throwing headsets left and right, all that crazy stuff? But you know what? If it's going to be a combination of the two, it's definitely going to be right. And I would definitely like to see how the Chargers kind of shake up that AFC a little bit more coming up here next year.
I'm curious what kind of outfit he'll have too, because it's always funny. He's always just super animated.
Always with the khakis, you know that for sure.
Always with the khakis, exactly. All right, great job with ARA as always, Voldy.
Thanks, sir.
Got to go. Congrats on 4 years, Alex says. Appreciate that, Alex. And you need to have a talk with your boy, Cole Munson. You gotta talk to him about what transpired. This was embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie, it's embarrassing. So we'll talk more about that. But we got to end things off with, of course, Shield shoutouts, and of course they never disappoint. So let's get it going with some Shield shoutouts.
Shield shoutouts.
All right, Shield, who you shouting out tonight?
Well, of course, we got to give a big Shield shout out to all the zoners out there that have been through us now with 4 years, season 4 wrapping up here tonight.
I've been here the whole time.
With the 4th anniversary show as well. So we say a big thank you. And of course, be sure to stick with us here for season 5. We've delivered on many promises over the years as well. Had our first live show together in person this year as well. We look forward to what season 5 will bring us as well, and many more surprises coming up here in the very near future as well. So big Shield shout out to all the zoners for sticking with us. And of course, I do got to give a big Shield shout out to 3D printing press on Etsy of all things for the 3D printed snapback cat extender. If anybody who knows who I am, snapback cats don't really fit me all that well. I got a huge head. It's a problem, but I just got them in the mail last night. Tried them on a couple of hats. I am never looking back ever once again at snapback hats. The short amount of time that I've had them and tried on all the snapback hats that don't fit and put them on, my world has been completely changed, especially in the world of hats. Yeah. Check them out, 3D Printing Press on Etsy. Great turnaround. Of course, the guy there definitely hooked me up as well with a few of those. Very reasonable pricing as well, especially for them being 3D printed. Very durable. So definitely going to be taking advantage of seeing those snapbacks come to life a lot more as well. So big shout out to them as well. And finally here with Shield Shoutouts, got to give a big shout out to a guy of mine up in Aiken as well. Jake Ince of Ince Outdoors. That's INCE Outdoors for a nice little merch swap that we did. He swapped a tumbler of his with one of our tumblers as well. So I definitely got to get that on the program here in the near future as well. So big shout out to Jake Ince for the hookup as well. Good buddy of mine who was got to call some games of his back in his high school days and kept tabs with him playing ball as well over the years. But now he's on to bigger and better things with an outdoors company, doing a little bit of the personal training as well. So might have to have him on in the near future as well. Sure. Shout out to Jake Ince Outdoors. Check him out as well on Instagram as well. He's got a couple of different profiles. That's Jake Ince, INCE Ince as well. And a big shout out once again. And that is going to do it for Shield Shoutouts this week.
Yeah. Great job as always, Shield with Shield Shoutouts. I'm sorry. This, not you. Trust me, it's not you.
What do I do now?
Cole Munson tunes in as we're wrapping up the show and says, "Sorry, I'm late. Did I win?"
Nope. That's a big NO.
Oh my God.
Munson.
He just missed the whole rant session that we had on him because of how pitiful, how disappointing his attempt at winning Best Guess was. I was so disappointed. I am so disappointed in you because, I couldn't share it and this and that. Dude, it's a shareable link. We had no problem sharing that link. You should have no problem as well. You, my friend, blew it. Much like Ricky Rubio with the Timberwolves, but again, that's all in jokes because Ricky Rubio, I hope he's doing well and everything like that with his mental health. But you really fumbled the bag there, sir. Cole, this is on you, but we'll probably have you on Talk Wolves, so it's all good. All in good fun. But Cole, no, you did not win. No, I'm sorry, not even close.
I'm close.
Get the share button to work, and I had it. Bull crap. That is BS. It's fine. You're having issues, my friend. You're having lots of issues. So you figure that out. Voldy was able to share it fine. Everybody else has been able to share it fine. So that one is on you. Anyway, with that being said, we got to wrap things up with merch. Guys, we've got our new merch. We've got the quarter zips still available. They're fantastic. Very warm. Very, just awesome, man. I just love them. You know the deal with those bad boys. They are very warm, very fun to have, and I believe
they got pockets, people.
They got the pockets, bro. Pockets on pockets. So make sure you talk to us about that. We'll Venmo, all that stuff. We do, like Voldy said, we got the tumblers. It was rigged. Callahan trying to keep me down. Okay, you know what? We're going 13. Bullshit. That's so bullshit, dude. Don't even. Anyway, the tumblers we have, Voldy has propped up for you right there. There you go. Thank you. I know. Quality, yeah. Quality's a little tough tonight. But we got the tumblers. Looks a little bit better there. And then, not only that, we do have our hats. The hats are very warm, very, okay, those hats. We'll go with those hats. Yep. Those hats, American flags, camo. Cole says, all love, boys, all love. You know it, Cole. We love ribbing you a little bit, so it's all good. We got the hats. We got the winter hats. Oh, so warm. Guys, these are fantastic hats. $20, awesome. $5 shipping, that all deal. And we still have sweatpants available, $35 for the right. God, I'm losing my mind. $5 shipping. That whole deal. We still have some left. Stickers, you know the deal with the stickers. Small ones $2. Big ones $3. And and the shirts we got $20, $5 shipping as well. Guys, they're 5 out of 5 stars. If you want some, come get some, as we'd like to say here. Thank you to National Fleet Graphic, Crown Rental, Tyler Knutson for the stickers. Make sure you check out our guy, W2 Performance, Will Rattel at www.w2performance.com. And check out the victorious P.O.D. with Tyler Hermann, Jack Vickers. Voldy, I think it's time to reveal. They're coming on the show next week, baby. Let's go. Tyler and Jack will be joining us. We'll be talking about some fantasy stuff, fantasy football stuff, and as well, not only that, but we'll be talking, we're doing a MinneZona flavor with it as well. So they will be on with us next week. Shout out to TLS Performance, our guy Troy Stoudemire Jr., and he again had a strong following for best guest. He almost got that there, but shout out to him. And make sure you check out Popcorn Bucket List, Ryan Myberg, Nick Dahlhoff. Guys, we're working on something, just saying. Omni Entertainment, make sure you check those guys out too. So that is episode 179. Guys, thank you so much. Our 4th anniversary is very special. Congrats to all of our winners, except for Draymond Green, of course. But we appreciate you guys. We are looking forward to season 5. We got bigger and better things that are coming your way, and especially for it being going to be 5 years, guys. 5. Wow. So, more things, more fun coming up with that. So, without further ado, as always, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla!
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.